All right, guys. Today I am with Tim, and we're going to be doing our technicals with Tim. It's not Technical Tuesdays, but I'm going to lead off. I want to set the table for a minute and kind of go over what's important about this video. We're going to be hard hitting, doing a lightning round, and giving you the update on Bitcoin that a lot of you have been waiting for. But I want you to know, here is the tone that I am going to be talking about in this week's worth of videos. We are going to be moving between fear and FOMO moving forward, and a lot of people are not ready. What this is, more and more, after all the charts and the fundamentals and the analysts that I follow, more and more, we are heading towards distribution. We are moving right now towards the top of the range. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm seeing with big tech. We've got people unloading Google, unloading Amazon right now. I've been talking about Apple. We know that Warren Buffett's been unloading Apple, but here's something that Warren's doing that's even more unusual. We know that he has set aside $200 billion of cash, more cash than he has ever sat on in the history of the company, but he actually did something that he is not known for doing, and that's actually taking an investment in gold. Now, it's more broadly, he's not specifically buying gold, but he is taking a position in gold, which is an absolute hedge. Traditionally, he has said that to invest in gold is a way of going long on fear. And so what I'm wanting us to digest, we're not there today. It's not time to load up on the SQQQ right now. But I really believe that over the next 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, we are going to see some of the wildest movements in big tech and Wall Street in general and crypto that are going to surprise people. Swing highs, which are quickly followed by swing lows. And what I want to try to prepare you for when we go into the Bitcoin chart in particular today is I want us to set expectations, because we are not going to be on a stair step moving up, right? That's not the way the market is. That's not the cadence that I see on Wall Street right now, where you take it one step at a time until you get to the very top. We are basically on an elevator, and there's a 12-year-old controlling the buttons. He's sending us to the top floor, then he's going to turn around and send us to the lobby, then he's going to turn around and send us to the top floor. That's what I want to prepare you guys for. Let me bring in my guest, Tim. Tim, how are you doing today? You want to say hi to the people?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What's up, everybody? Glad to be back on. Sorry I missed last week. I had strep throat. I know everyone here loves the Technical Tuesdays, which we rarely do on a Tuesday, but yes, the name's still fun. So
the name works. It's branding. It's branding. You know, I had someone say, Tim, when I told everybody that you weren't feeling well, and then they came back on my page and they said, he's fine. He's over on his page doing a live right now. They told on you, Tim. They told on you.
I don't know when that one was, but
I don't know either. I don't know either.
I came back. You know, I came back Wednesday as half a man.
That's right.
Thursday,
they're watching us, man.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's just engage with the family for a minute. Lunatics 101. Tim, you chain link maxi you. You know, I mean, we're gonna keep this tight. We're going to try to power through a bunch of things. But one of the things I want to do before we get into the Bitcoin chart is I want to hit on a lot of the statements and questions that people are giving us. Chainlink is kind of hot. And I've been talking a lot about Solana over the last couple of weeks. And I've actually wanted to give a shout out to Chainlink. What's your best and most powerful shout out to Chainlink right now, Tim?
Oh, man. Well, it depends on what you want to say. If you want my long-term most powerful shout out, I still predict why people are calling me a Chainlink maxi. That's a wrong expression, but I'm a Chainlink enthusiast because I believe it could make its way into the top 3 cryptocurrencies by the end of the bull market. And I recently, I don't think I've released the video yet on my top price prediction. I'm going to hold my price prediction, but I'll tell you this. My price prediction for Chainlink is a lot higher than most people think it should be. And that's where people call me crazy. So I'm going to hold off. I'm going to put a video out on that one, but I'll tell you this. I think that Chainlink goes from number 15 right now to number 3 or 4 by the time the bull market's over.
You think it's going to bump Doge? You know, Doge is a powerhouse, man.
I think it's going to bump.
It's the meme coin that counts.
I think it's going to bump Doge with ease.
Oh, snap. Tim's like, I can't even believe that you uttered Doge in the same breath as Chainlink.
No disrespect to Doge. I like Doge too. Doge has its place. It's no longer just a joke like it used to be. I think it has a future. I just think Chainlink is something very special.
Yeah, real quick, let's do a mic check. Guys, let me know. I raised my mic a little bit. They said that Tim was kind of high. I slightly buffered his down. How's it sounding out there, guys?
Yeah, I'll text a little bit just to see if it was down. There we go.
We're going to do a bunch of, we're going to get out a bunch of content today. I'm going to go into the meme stocks real quick, just a second, but I want to talk about Dogecoin. So I did 2 videos on Dogecoin, and obviously the entire market has pulled back since I did those videos. And one of the videos was entertaining the idea of whether or not Dogecoin could hit $1. Now, I gave the argument as to how Dogecoin could do that, and I want to be very clear. Dogecoin, in my mind, could only do that if we saw the adoption that Elon Musk has hinted towards or suggested over the years by bringing it on the X platform. So that is the argument there. So if you're in Doge and you're thinking that just because it's the bull cycle that we could potentially get to $1, I'm going to just check you on that and say that we need to see adoption of Doge that's possible that hasn't happened yet. Now, if you are, if we're on the same page, then the next question is, okay, Josh, if it takes Elon to get it to $1, where could it possibly get if no Elon, no X? First of all, if that happens, I am so disappointed in X. Come on, when are we going to see some of the action behind the talk, Elon Musk? But the high end for me on Doge is around 36 cents, between 33 and 36 cents, and I know that I'm going to have my haters out there. When I give you that price prediction, it's what I can see technically without any major events that are unseeable. So what's a major event that's unseeable? Bitcoin breaks above 100K. That can happen, but we don't see it yet. If that happened, it could take the meme coins through the roof. But we can't assume that we're going to get there until that happens. So Bitcoin screaming above 100K, Elon Musk adopting Dogecoin, that's going to take us from 37 cents to $1. That's my range. A quick commentary, Tim, on Dogecoin. Do you have any ready thoughts on where you think it could go?
I think you're kind of dead on there. This is kind of it's Elon's pet at this point. If he's going to promote it with X, I think that we could see even north of maybe closer to $2 come in for Doge. Who knows? Maybe even higher. I haven't done a long-term price prediction on Doge. So I need to look into that one. But I think if for some reason Elon backs off, which we have no evidence of, so I don't want anyone walking away from this thinking that there's a good chance of that because he hasn't expressed that. But if he did back off, I do think Doge is in a little bit of a pickle. And I think that point, $1 is asking a little much. I think if he backs off, we don't hit a new all-time high. And the all-time high at this point is sitting in the 72-cent range, I believe.
Correct. And and that was simply with Elon, calling himself the Doge Father, going on Saturday Night Live, hinting towards the alignment of community and technology. I have this principle, Tim. I talk about it all the time. You're going to have 3 factors that you should always take into consideration when looking at a crypto project. You got regulation, community, and technology. Okay, and so what would make a crypto pop is when all of these come into alignment. Dogecoin, it goes under the radar of regulation because it was never sold as a security. Community, there is a large community. It's the 6th largest market cap crypto. If you minus out some of the stable coins, it's the 6th largest community in crypto. So it's already got community. And then tech. No, it doesn't have a ton of tech. And I know my Doge people are going to be like, Josh, it does have tech. No, it doesn't have a lot of tech. But what it would have, the very minute that Elon joined forces on the platform, is it would have all 3. And that's why it would have the right to rise above other big projects. Hey, Tim, have you been following the meme stocks? Have you been following Roaring Kitty? I want to give people an overview on what's happening. Before I do, you have any thoughts on that subject? You and I have not talked about it.
No, I've been keeping up to date with it. Obviously, it's all over. You can't go anywhere without seeing something about Roaring Kitty over the last week or so. But I'll say this: it's more meme coin stuff. I've said this before on your show. I'm not necessarily a meme coin guy for the reasons that you just explained. I think you're spot on. Yes, a coin pumps from community, and that's why meme coins pump. But I really do like looking at what is their utility, what is the competition. Well, first of all, a meme coin's competition is everything that has value in any other meme coin. They have great communities, but the problem is by the time you hear about a meme coin, more often not every time, but more often not, you're hearing about it because it's at a top signal. So I have not been a dabbler of meme coins. And then, of course, because Roaring Kitty is just that, and the concept is kind of tracking and paying attention to what would almost be, I would call the meme coins of stocks with GameStop and everything else. There's no reason for GameStop to pump. It's not like the video game sector is all of a sudden doing a phenomenal job. It's not like their sales are crazy up. It's a reminder to the public that sometimes the populace, the people can make fun and have fun with things, but ultimately it's not anything that's driven by utility. So therefore it's extremely risky. And I don't really mess with the more risky.
You know how I would call it, Tim?
Actions.
If I use my rule of three, I would say that it's a war. And you can sometimes replace my principle of regulation with establishment. Okay, so in the case of the stocks, the meme stocks, it's not necessarily regulation that you have to worry about, but it's a war between community and the establishment powers that be that control Wall Street. And so you're right that the fundamentals, i.e. the technology, is not necessarily where it needs to be. It's just simply a war between community and establishment. But let me give everybody an update real quick on meme stocks. So the meme stocks have been bleeding. We had a video came out by Roaring Kitty last week that was an ode to ET, which is kind of ominous because if you're wanting to see the meme stock rally continue, if the interpretation of him posting the farewell to ET video was any signal that the movement was over, well then it's pretty disheartening for people that piled in, because it came after the stock ran up and then ran down. You know, the ET video, if it was a signal that the move was over, should have been given when it was up at the top, not when it came back down into the gutter. And then there was also a song, a way to go. Wait. The song was okay, let me see. What's the name of the song? Oh, Supertramp's Goodbye Stranger. Forgive me, guys. Didn't remember that. So he kind of put that song together with the ET saying goodbye, and that's where he left the market. Now, I'm going to take people into the stock. So there's the serious question. If this, we're just sitting here trying to guess what's going on with this meme stock move. Roaring Kitty is the guy that has played the largest and most significant role. GME came back down to 10, which was actually where it had originally fired off to in the past. Before it took off this time, it came back down to 10. It took all the way since 2021 for that to happen. He comes out with a "it's back on" meme. At least that's how the market interpreted it. Went all the way back up to roughly $60. And now it's come all the way back close to 18, which is kind of where the technical trigger was. And he comes out with those messages. So it's kind of hard to interpret. But I want to go over these points before we get into the Bitcoin chart here with Tim. When I originally started talking about these meme stocks last week, we talked about the fact that they last time, they took about a month for a lot of wild price action last time, coincided with Bitcoin running up to 64K, coming back down, running back up to 69K. And it also coincided with the overall market hitting its all-time high at 48K back in 2021. Now, let's just say for a moment that the meme stock rally is officially dead. Roaring Kitty's videos with ET and that song Supertramp were telling us it's over. Let's just assume it's over for a moment. The next thing that I want to do is ask myself, what implication does that very, very short meme stock rally have for Bitcoin and for the overall markets and the remainder of our pump up? Because we've been moving up for a long time. Now, I'm going to slow up with trying to answer all that, but to me that is the appropriate question, because for the most part, if that flash in the pan was all that the meme stocks were going to give, then it very well could be an indication that our expectation for a final push up in the markets could also be narrower than we expect, as well as our expectation of Bitcoin could be narrower than we expect. Tim, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, well, when you say narrower, do you mean like where the prediction's too low? What do you mean by narrower?
Sooner, we're going to get to where we're going to go quicker, and it's going to be over quicker.
Huh. I kind of see, yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people are looking at the 4-year cycle still as potentially this is the last great rendition of the 4-year cycle. I go back and forth on if I think that's going to happen or not. That would put it just, so you know, like September, October of 2025. I've told my audience recently, my opinion is this. I think this election season is going to be very, very important. And what I'm about to say, I'm not telling anybody who to vote for. Ultimately, who you vote for is up to you. What I will say, though, based off of how the crypto markets are working and looking, I think if we get another 4 years of Joe Biden, I think you have a good case for saying a February zone might be a potential top for crypto. I think there's going to be some problems that continue and some fear that goes on. I think, though, if he's unseated, and I'm going to say, let's just say either JFK or Donald Trump, because I think those are the top three. Obviously, it's probably just a Trump versus Biden election. But I think those two more favorable crypto candidates, either Trump or JFK, if they're elected, I think you can see the 4-year cycle continue. And we're really looking at tops in the fall of 2025. But I've kind of gone on record with saying, as the market continues to mature, if you take a look at what gold did after it got its ETF, it matured dramatically. I mean, gold had a nice 68% pullback before the halving, but we've never seen more than a 45% pullback on gold since. I think there's an outside chance that Bitcoin hits somewhere in the realm of $200 to $220,000 by September, October of 2025. And then we really only see, at worst, maybe a 40% pullback, unlike what we've seen in the past where, I mean, this last cycle, we still saw 70 on Bitcoin. I think the days of massive crashes on Bitcoin are coming to a close with these ETFs. And the question is going to be, who's the one kind of leading the country, especially the U.S.? I know clearly crypto is like a universal thing, but we can't beat around the bush and lie to ourselves. The American markets have the heaviest impact on crypto. So therefore, the American election is going to have the heaviest impact of any election on crypto in the same breath.
I think that's very reasonably said. I also think that we're going to see the growth and the development of AI here in the States, and I think that's going to continue to align with crypto. I think the development, even I'm not dismissing the role that the rest of the world will play, but it really is, that development is coming out of the States still. The U.S. is number one in that technology-driven, innovative space. So far, we're still number one. Let's do some let me get into some technicals here for Bitcoin. I'm going to touch on the miners, guys, and I'm going to touch on the meme stocks. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. Let me just say a couple things here, though. Tim and I, 2 weeks ago, we came out here and we said Bitcoin's going down to 55, 56K. Strong prediction. We said, don't look up, look down. That's where we're going. We came down there. We got a nice little bump. Then it began to bleed off pretty hard. And when it was a dark and dreary day and nobody was pumping Bitcoin, I came out here and I said, forget about it. We're going higher. Get ready. We're going to rip. When it was 60K, I said, guys, next destination, 68.5. And that's exactly where we've gotten to today. Now, the big question, Tim, on the table is what to expect moving forward. Let me just quickly go into the chart. Actually, I'll let you lead, Tim. Go ahead, and I'm gonna pop up your chart and you give a couple thoughts on this, because remember, we're lightning rounding as much as we can today.
Yeah, so the video, I have a video from last week. I had a little bit higher level than you did. I said that I thought we were going to see a realm of 71. I will admit, I did not think it was going to happen this fast. But you can see on Lux Algo, we talked about this the last time I was on, a very clean and simple way of using Lux Algo. You have buy signals, sell signals, and then you have take profit and stop loss setups. Well, we had a buy signal here back on May 15th. It was only a 1, but I said there was something about this one breaking out of this descending channel. This is going to be significant. Watch for that take profit to get hit in the next couple of weeks. I didn't know it was going to be a couple of days. We wicked. I don't know, Josh, if you've caught up, because we need to talk about Ethereum as well. Ethereum had some massive news day, but Bitcoin within the last hour hit 70,500. So we're within 500 of my initial target. I think there's also another reason for that level when I bring on the extra part of Lux Algo. We talked about the take profit levels, and we also talk about these order blocks. We've now broken through a significant order block back here at 67, turned it into what is a very, very bullish breaker block, meaning a strong level of support. So what I'm watching for now, if Bitcoin starts to fall back down, I think that you're looking at a very good buy area at 67,000, give or take, because you're going to see a breaker block on the daily chart. You'll see one in that same area on the 4 hour if it loads for me. There we go. We see one on the 4 hour, and you see another one in the same area on the 1 hour chart. So a lot of confirmation from Lux Algo saying, hey guys, we're rallying right now. There's still a chance we go further up. But if we do start to fall, keep your eyes on the 67K area to the downside. And on the upside, we're keeping an eye on 71 for now.
Well, thank you, Tim, for that. And yeah, I'm going to be, so let me share with you that I always am releasing just a little bit of the view, because whenever I make predictions, and I know it's going to be the same with you, Tim, we have to define for our audience the timeline, okay? Because you know what? You can be right, but it could be 2 months out, and everybody thinks you're talking about the next 48 hours. So the truth is that I actually threw up. Let me throw up this. Let me see if maybe I can't find his comment. Okay, no, Techmaster. Truth is, if you ask me what I really thought when we were at 60K, the truth is on that day, I saw that there was a very, very, very strong reason for us to go all the way to 77K. A very strong reason for us to make that technical move with the view that might be different than other people, that we would then break down and go sideways and retest the lower of the range to 48K. I don't throw these things out there all the time because I don't want to confuse people, because people sometimes they catch what they want to hear, and all they heard was Josh thinks it's going to 48K. Josh thinks it's going to 78 cents. The one thing I knew is that we were going to hold at that 59 to 60, and I had a very strong feeling that we were going to shoot up to 68. But the truth is, I don't see why we wouldn't get to the 77. But let's talk about what that would look like. So what Tim, and so this is why I'm going through what I just shared, is that what Tim gave you is he gave you what is going to probably be support. We don't know whether we continue to fire higher, right? We don't know, how quickly we'll go there. Tim made mention to that. He said, I felt it would go here. I didn't know how quickly. Neither do I. But what we are telling you now is that we got through a pretty substantial resistance zone at that 68.5. That was a pretty tough zone to break. That's a strong fib level that I've shown you guys on my other charts. And now he's telling you, same thing that I would view, what once was resistance will now and could now serve as support. So if we did pull back, that's where we'd be looking for a confirmation of our thesis that we're going to 77. We'd look for a strong bounce there. All right. If we came back and made a descending channel, we'd wait for it to get back to that 67 and for it to continue higher from there. But for the most part, I believe we're in a strong uptrend on that. Any final thoughts on Bitcoin before we push through, Tim?
I mean, I agree. I think that at this point, it's one of those things that you can continue to find your levels. Timeline is very hard. Ultimately, if anyone is wondering why are prices exploding, I see the chat asking about Ethereum, saying, "Can you look at the Ethereum chart?" For anyone who doesn't know, today we got fantastic news, Josh. This is one of the accounts that I follow. If anyone
ETF,
good,
the ETH ETF, right?
Yeah, if you want to show my chart here, anyone who wants to stay up to date with big crypto news, I don't know if they follow this Twitter account. I heavily recommend it, watcher.guru. They don't put out rumors. If there is something that's not really sure, he makes clear to say, hey, this is being talked about. This is alleged. You see other accounts on Twitter sometimes post fake news as if it's factual, and then it gets debunked. This is one of the top crypto news channels. And again, what they put out now is there's talk of the ETF approval odds. They increased to 75% from 25%. And ultimately, while we were live, this all happened while T. Shroom and I were live with Investing Bros. We also are following another chart that skyrocketed live while we were watching it. It had a 12% odds that by May 31st, we would see the ETF. It went from 12% to 50% like that. We watched it flip live. So massive turnaround for the entire Ethereum ecosystem. I mean, if you were to come over here and look at the Ethereum chart, which I'll do here for you, I won't even show targets just yet. Big bullish moves here for Ethereum. Big bullish candle breaking out of a descending trading channel. Both Josh and I talk about these all the time. These do break bullish more often than not. It's a question of when, not usually if. That's a big move for Ethereum. You're also going to see Ethereum coins having a decent day here. For example, Ethereum up 14%. Optimism, one of the top layer twos, kind of rallying back up here, up 13%. I think Arbitrum is up closer to 10%. But the big story, of course, today is Ethereum. And if I was going to say targets to keep an eye on, we just flashed with this big candle. We just flashed Bitcoin's daily buy signal for the first time in a while. So you're going to have to wait till tomorrow, more than likely, to get a take profit suggestion. My guess is it's going to be somewhere in the range of 38 at the low end and potentially over 4,000 at the high end. We'll have to continue to wait for that. However, there's an order block coming in here around 3,700 that also looks very, very interesting. We're close to it, but that's what I'm kind of watching for right now. But I won't be surprised. One of the reasons why this is a more advanced concept with this tool, but these reversal zones that I like to use, you can see we have not touched this since the high of Ethereum back on March 12th. That's coming in the low end at 38,000. High end, again, maybe do we see it up above 41, 4,200? I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to see that one. But massive bullish moves here for Ethereum on the daily chart.
I'm going to jump in, Tim, and give folks, so I'm going to jump in and give them some understanding of Ethereum. Give me a minute to pull that up. You can go ahead and chat while I'm doing that.
Yeah, I was doing one other thing here by moving the breakout.
You may pull your chart up?
Yeah, you can pull that up for a second. I'm going to take down Lux Algo. Another good reason to suspect that we could potentially get to 4,000. Here's another target you want to keep an eye on, is taking the opening of the channel. From the opening, this wick came down here back on March 4th, up to the high we had around March 12th. Move this over to our breakout zone. That would give us a price target of just over $4,000. So again, 3,800 to 4,200 range, I think, is going to be interesting. That comes right there in the middle of it, right at 4,000. I think that's the next target we're looking to the upside for Ethereum, potentially making some highs of its own here on its most recent wave. Not all-time high. All-time high is still way up at 4,800. But I think we potentially could flirt with setting a new high for this bull market.
All right, let me, I just wanted to show people this chart. Patience, my friends, patience. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys, Tim's right. This is an extremely bullish, pattern that we've just had a breakout of. The only thing I want to show you guys is structural support. So I quickly dropped this white dotted line there. That's right around 33, 34. And I just wanted you guys to understand that it's very normal for stuff to break through. There's structure, there's structure, there's structure, there's structure, there's structure. I mean, there's structure. So you can clearly see this is sometimes what I refer to as the line in the sand. We know that when we got back into this space that we're now moving higher, right? If we got rejected here, then we would know that we're going to stay in a downtrend. But it's not at all abnormal for us to come back and to digest this. We'll stay above this line, but we might digest above this line in this price zone before building some additional momentum. And so again, I think Tim's 100% right about what this move means and where the big target would be. These are our targets. You're going to have 3,700 and you're going to have 4,000, right? Mm-hmm. But before you load up right here today at 35, you want to understand a little bit of what's happening. We had this massive run up, right? We stayed here, we lost momentum, and then we came down, found support, slowly rebuilt support. Now we're breaking out again. So just this, one of the things that I want people to keep into perspective is get this. You guys are going to get really tossed with a lot of FOMO over the next 30 days. That's why I led this video with this. You've got a little time, right? You've got a little bit of time here because this was a massive candle, and it could go a little higher, but I am expecting it to digest, possibly backtest the channel that you saw on Tim's page and begin its journey from here to here, which will take a little bit of time. Now, we don't know, we don't have a perfect time frame on time. Tim and I can't tell you when stuff will happen. We can tell you what we see in the charts. But I would tell you that this was a pretty bullish day. That's a pretty bullish candle. And on the same breath, if it were to break beneath that support, let's say it runs up today, and in the next 24 hours, it closes back beneath that channel, then that's what's referred to as a fake out or a bull trap, which I don't see right now because largely I'm believing that we're in a moment in time in which we're going to have a wide distribution day. Remember my analogy at the beginning. You got onto an elevator. You didn't take, the market's not taking the cadence of the stairs right now. We're in what I would say is the classic characteristics of beginning the journey of distribution. And distribution is characterized by wide price range move, not tight price range move. All right. I wanted to touch on the miners, but I also wanted to touch on MicroStrategies. I'm going to, Tim, go ahead and pull up MicroStrategies chart. And you want to
give
I wanted on that?
I wanted to give one quick thought before we leave the Bitcoin Ethereum topic. And I'm not going to say this is going to pin out perfectly, but something you said is it's a good point to add to this chart. You go look at the Bitcoin chart back on October 23rd. And for anyone who doesn't pay attention to the news, this was a big day, October 23rd. It's this white candle right here, the biggest one on screen I have right there. This was the day that we actually heard that the likelihood of a Bitcoin ETF was favorable, right? We had a fake out day a couple days previous on the 16th where there was fake news. But this was the day they pretty much said, hey, guys, this Bitcoin ETF, it's officially a question of when, not if. And of course, Bitcoin would go on. It had a big candle that day, but then a very slow bullish trickle over the next little bit. And of course, the rally would continue. But it wasn't just Bitcoin. Almost every coin did this. This is total 2, which is all crypto excluding Bitcoin. It had a decent day on the 23rd. You guys can see it right there, a modest bullish candle. But even the rest of the altcoin space traded sideways for a couple of days and then began a slow but sure rally up above resistance. So there is a lot of people in the crypto space right now asking, do we see Ethereum potentially repeat this trend? And Josh kind of laid it out there perfectly, saying you have some time for this, but do we see a big candle and then a couple of days of sideways, but slowly but surely rising levels of Ethereum? I don't think we shoot up to new highs tonight or tomorrow. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks, but in a very sideways bullish pattern, something like this. Yeah. Just like Bitcoin did a little bit ago.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, in the painting of the picture that I just painted, I wanted to show the other side of the coin. But if we do what it is that I'm imagining, which is sort of like the things are moving faster than any of us thought, I actually agree with Tim that we could easily begin to get some small candles which simply continue the momentum up because everyone's looking. The market's trained us through that bearish moment we just went through. It's trained us to think that it's not going to go up right now. And that's when the markets can move very, very quickly. And so I agree with Tim that I'm not actually anticipating strong pullbacks on much of anything. And that's why I've been careful not to sell any crypto. If you were going to sell crypto, altcoins, what I mean by that, then when they were peaking and getting overbought before this downturn, that's when it's time to do that. Let's go into MicroStrategies, Tim. Let me just quickly I'm going to pull that chart up, but people have been asking for that. But you want to give any commentary on that?
Yeah, pumping today, looking good. Of course, a lot of people look at MicroStrategy. Am I still there? Did it pause? Okay, it's just lagging a little bit. Some people look at MicroStrategy as an early indicator of what Bitcoin is going to do. So what is MicroStrategy doing right now? Could Bitcoin be about to follow suit? So that's going to be something that's very positive as well. It's having a good day. Not back too high. I don't know if you want to share my screen here.
Go ahead.
But it is hitting a level that we expected here. Again, a couple of days ago, had a buy signal here on MicroStrategy. We've hit the lower level of take profit now, but I think this is one that can go to the second take profit, the top take profit, closer to 1888. If I were to pull up this as well, our order blocks, there's not any strong order blocks between where we currently are and back to the highs, back up around 2000. And we've just kind of set a new floor here with a bullish breaker block right here around 1360, give or take. That's what I'm kind of watching right now for MicroStrategy. Let me pull up Oscillator here as well, see what it is saying. I think we have to make another video in the future to talk about this, but it looks like our money flow, after being in the red for a while, we've had some bullish momentum here, but our money flow looks like it's about to cross back into being bullish for the first time since back here on April 23rd or so. So a lot of positive signs here for MicroStrategy. And reason to stay bullish. I'm on the daily chart here, and I don't know if you want to go a little bit lower. This does strike me similar to what we saw with some others. I wouldn't be surprised on lower time frames, Josh, to see, yeah, there we go, a small pullback, maybe back down towards 1550, give or take, where we have a strong breaker block. But again, very bullish chart that I'm seeing right now, and I still think there's room on the larger time frames to the upside.
All right, well, I'm going to answer a question here. Let me just quickly come in. I've got my MicroStrategies chart up. But I made, on this page, guys, first of all, I think we're due some likes. I work for likes. I work for hearts in the comments section. Tim is over on his own channel called Investing Bros. So if this is the first time you're seeing him, I want you to go over there and subscribe. He's worth following. He's got great insights, and he covers some things I don't cover. He covers some crypto subjects a bit more broadly than I get into because I'm doing stock and crypto. But on that note, guys, so hit that like for me. Let me see those numbers change. Okay, on that note, if you're part of the Stock Squad Patreon, that's myself, StockMo, Keenan Grace, and Stock Up with Larry Jones. We do a live stream in there that Mo hosts. On Wednesday, I went into that live stream with a bold prediction, knowing, I don't know, but I had a very strong suspicion then that we were going to continue the Bitcoin breakout. And I knew that it was going to have a very big impact on MicroStrategies. Now, I made a prediction on MicroStrategies months back when it was beneath 450 at the time. And I told everybody similar stuff that Tim and I are talking about today. We had a historic trend line that we broke and closed above, back tested, and then we broke above the candle that pushed us out of that zone. I said, guys, MicroStrategy is getting ready to go nuts, and I think it's going to hit 1200 in the next 45 days. It did. Now, last Wednesday, I went on to the live stream in the Discord, and I said, guys, I gave you a prediction that could have made you really hundreds of thousands of dollars. I said, and I'm going to do it again today. So I said, we are going to have another massive breakout on MicroStrategies that's going to push us back. I'm going to pull up my chart. That's going to push us back up to 1750. Right here, guys, right here. And this is a massive jump up. Now, I just want to point out, these trend lines, I drew these a long time ago, right? I drew these trend lines a long time ago. They're going to continue to serve us over the next couple months. If Bitcoin gets to 77K, you're going to see MicroStrategies hit 2200. Okay, so there's another prediction for you right now. We are at structural resistance right now. So I want you guys to understand, we're at structural resistance right now. I'm just going to talk through some scenarios, and I know those scenarios can confuse people because everybody's looking for things for me to say going up, going down. Well, I actually gave that to you last week on MicroStrategies. I said we're going up. But today it gets a little bit more complicated. Let me explain to you why. Because we have a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders developing here. And I want to see us break out of this neckline that's at 1715. Just as a side note, you guys were given this 1715 price and its relevancy months ago on this page. Months ago. Now, we have the ability, if we break out and we hit 1800, I would expect us to back test 1750 and then break through 1800. However, if for whatever reason we get rejected here, I'm going to look for a back test of 1398, the completion of an inverse head and shoulders, and then a potential breakout above the 1715 mark in the days ahead. Now, I know that you're like, oh, Josh, we just want you to tell us if it's going up or down. Sometimes it's clear. When it was right in this window last Wednesday, to me, I felt Bitcoin was going up, and I knew that MicroStrategies would follow. That was a clear moment for me. But right now, we're at what I'd refer to the line in the sand. 1715 is the line in the sand. If we get some candles that close above, it's telling us that we could be on our way up to that 2200. But if we got rejected right here, we might have to spend a little bit more time building the other shoulder on that inverse bullish head and shoulders pattern. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good stuff. I think there's also, if you look at there on the more micro time frame, like if you were to look on the 4 hour, there's a head and shoulders pattern that actually kind of hit its take profit on MicroStrategy. If you want to go back to my screen here, I was looking at it while you were talking about yours. If you look here, you got a nice little left shoulder right there,
for sure.
head, right shoulder, and then the way you play these out again, to the bottom of the head for inverted shoulder, up to the neckline, moving it over to the breakout, and that bam, we pretty much hit.
What we got. Beautiful.
To pretty much hit our target. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that'd be beautiful. I think you paint a very beautiful picture of potential here. Do we maybe see a fall back down? I don't think we need to match the wick we saw way back here.
No, we don't.
I think if
we don't need to.
If we just come back in that area of 1400, I think that would be good enough to kind of potentially see a play out where that's the right shoulder, and now all of a sudden we have a larger inverse head and shoulders.
Hey, you know what? I love doing this so much that I love his technicals as much as I love mine. I'm getting stoked seeing what Tim's laying down. Guys, don't forget to go over to Investing Bros and subscribe. It's well worth your time. We don't have unlimited time. I don't want to make the video too long, even though I'm just having a great time. I want to go over the miners, and then I briefly want to talk about the meme stocks. I want to go into some charts and tell people what I see and what needs to happen there, because it's actually relatively clear at the moment. What I'd like to know is what Roaring Kitty is going to contribute to this party, or whether he's on the spaceship, whether he's the alien or he's the kid. I just don't know. GME, I guess, is the alien. I don't know. But on that chart, I want to make it clear. We gave you guys that 1400 range. That is a potential pullback zone. What do we do when our price gets to a established trend line? So if you're following me, this is a quiz. I'm going to pause for a moment of awkward silence. I want to see, what have I repeatedly taught on this page? What do we look for when our price action hits one of the trend lines that we have established? What do we look for then? Let me know in the comments section. I'm going to wait. I want to see these comments come through. What are we looking for? I want to give my opinion on these meme stocks, guys, here, but we're going to get some. I'm going to tell you, volume, Michael Bueno, muy bueno, Michael. Volume is what we look for. We also look, actually, that's the correct answer. We look for a candle. Is it going to be a tall green candle pressing through our resistance? The next step would be to open above our resistance, and then we want to see it close above our resistance. That's a breakthrough, okay? If we get a rejection candle at this 1700 level that I've outlined for you guys that I'm calling a potential neckline, if we get a rejection candle, then we take the risk to the downside back to the 1400 level. And when you look at MicroStrategies and you look at Bitcoin and you look at the miner stocks, it's interesting to see what they're all saying at one time. Let me take you guys briefly into, Wick, that's right. JC Ramirez passes this chart goat class of the day. Neil, I'm going to take volume as an accurate test as well. Long wick candles, man, I'm loving you guys. I'm feeling good about my time invested here on YouTube. All right, let's take a minute. Hey, I'm going to let you lead off on Mara. Why don't you throw Mara up really briefly, what you see, because we're running out of time. I'm going to throw your chart up.
Yeah, so I think the last I don't know what show it was on. Again, I don't do a lot of Mara TA. I might have done it here, but I was on a show where I put a trade set up. I popped up Mara.
Oh man,
I had a trade.
You did it here. You did it here. I remember this.
Was it here? Okay.
Yeah, you
so
did this here.
we're on our way here towards what I think could happen. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I did that based off of the take profit. We had our buy signal right here. There we go. Buy signal. And now we're midway on that take profit level right there. I'm going to get a little more complicated. I'm going to pull up some things here. I wanted to show people simplicity wise what I've taught you guys so far. I'm going to add some stuff.
And I hate to kill your steam in any way. I'm coming right back to you. Let's take a minute real quick and talk about Lux Algo. So we haven't done much talking about Lux Algo today, but the number one request that I've been getting in the comment section in the Discord is for Tim and I to teach a Lux Algo class. I'm going to make that available. Me and Tim are going to make that available in the Discord next week. We're going to take time to do what might be, there's a lot of people that don't have Lux Algo, but for those who do, we're going to do a deep dive in the Discord teaching class about all the symbols and the settings. It'll be a little bit, some people could find it boring. It's going to be valuable content from both Tim and I. If you don't have Lux Algo, it's a suite of indicators that if you understand how to use them, darn are they accurate. It's giving you the buy zone. It's giving you the sell zone. And a lot of people are trading blind with no trade plan whatsoever. I used Lux Algo for 6 months before I recommended it. If you want to get that, you have the beginnings of a trade plan. But the next step is to learn how to use it. And we're going to do that. We're going to maybe do a 1-hour private Discord tutorial next week. I'll give you guys, Tim, what day were we talking about doing that? On Tuesday after our next live?
Yeah, whatever works best for you and your community. We don't even have to do it on a Tuesday. My schedules are pretty open, so if it works better, do like the Tuesday, the technical Tuesdays, and then maybe we could do like a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. Whatever day is best for you and your community.
Let's plan on next Tuesday in the Discord. Cool. I'm going to take you guys. I'm going to take everybody into the Mara chart and what I see. Give me a second. Oh, wait. I apologize. Forgive me, Tim. You were talking about Mara. Please continue.
Yeah, so I'll say this too, as we kind of talk about Lux Algo. I've taught on this channel, if you guys have been watching when I'm here, a very simplistic setups like the take profit indicator, like the order blocks indicator. I'm going to get a little more complicated. My screen's getting messy, but I'm going to kind of look at some levels that I'm keeping an eye on here with it. So the first thing is we are coming into a level of what I think is going to be some resistance. I don't think it's going to stop us from eventually getting up here to 2490, but we have a smart trail and an order block confluence here at 2333. Makes a lot of sense for us to struggle at that area. When I look at my oscillators as well, I got a lot of them. Let's see here. Stochastics RSI has a ways to go. RSI, if you guys don't use RSI a lot, I heavily recommend you do. Nice bullish formation of the RSI right here. But the thing that I love is a support level above the 50 line. That's very, very bullish for relative strength index, the RSI. Lots of room to the upside before we're overextended on that relative strength index. So I love what I'm seeing there. The MACD creeping up bullish. We got a little bit more room. This is all just telling me money flow's kind of sideways. Everything's sideways here. But this is kind of telling me, Josh, this target, it might take a little bit of time, but everything is still continuing to creep bullish. We are not flipping bearish on these last couple. So in reality, you come over here, this is a bullish trend that comes back all the way at this bottom, way back here on April 16th. Higher highs, higher lows, and I think that trend is continuing. We're seeing Lux Algo confirm it. We're seeing the oscillators confirm it. It's just a patience detail that people need to continue to have.
Yeah. First of all, I love your technicals. Yes, you gave that when we covered Mara. And I'm just going to say it, guys, when we're doing these, we're dropping some good technicals. And Tim we covered Mara last time we covered this. We didn't get to do it last week. It was 2 weeks ago. And we literally showed you the exact, through Lux Algo, we showed you the exact buying and take profit zone. And it literally hit that today. But let's take a step back and talk about the miners, Clean Spark and Mara in general. He covered the charts. I'm not going to do a second chart run, but I will tell you guys this. I see visually similar design in that Mara chart as I do MicroStrategies. And you might be like, I don't quite see it. It's there. It's there. There is a similar inverted scenario coming here where where that 1700 level is very similar to where we're at in price. Do you see that structure, Tim?
On Mara?
Yeah. So I'm just going to tell you this. if we continue the way that Tim and I are saying, it's a possibility that we kind of do we slow down a bit, do a little bleed that's continuing higher, and then we have a second wave pushing us up even above 73, above 74, and possibly to 77. Guys, make no mistake about it. MARA will be a $33 stock. Okay, so another bold prediction. That's if we are going up with Bitcoin right now. Now, here's where this is going to be the subject for. I'm going to wrap up this video with a couple things. We're going to go over briefly GME, AMC, and FFIE. People are not going to be prepared or know. That's why I titled this video, You're Not Ready. Because one, you may not be psychologically ready for the breakout that's coming. And you're thinking, well, I'm just going to buy on the next dip. That's one way that you might not be ready. Another way is that when we get to where we're going, let's say we get to that 77K, I'm going to tell you that if we are outside the Bollinger Bands, we're outside the Watson envelope, and we're overheated significantly, people are going to be piling in at the top again when we just went through this with the crypto. We had these beautiful tops, and we had a really hard and deep pullback on a lot of great altcoins. We're going to get back in there, and that's when people are going to buy, and that's when they actually should be scaling out of their position. And so it's a huge concern of mine for everybody understanding where we're at right now and be prepared for what's going to happen. I'm also, go back to where we started this video, meme stocks. If this run is over or close to being over, it means it's significantly shorter than it was in 2021. And we're in a similar spot on Bitcoin where we peaked. Essentially, we'll call the $73,000 price, we'll call that the $64,000 price of 2021. And if we get to 77K, we're going to call that the $69,000 price of 2021. And just like I view the MARA chart, MicroStrategy charts, and Bitcoin charts, and I see a consensus, I want you guys to know we got to stop and look at what are the other consensuses that are coming together to tell us about the market that we're in right now. No matter what, the takeaway is distribution. But let me briefly go in. And Tim, I've charted GME. I'm going to let you give some thoughts on AMC, but I'm going to take people into GME real quick. Guys,
go ahead.
I got a slow moving system, so just give me a minute. How's my sound doing? Because I did switch it up.
It sounds to me on my end. I want to hear what people say. There was a moment where it was a little like staticky, and I think you cleaned something up. It sounds a little more clear.
Yeah, well,
now.
I was dialing it up and then dialing it back. Guys, thank you. Hit that like for me. It's nice to see that number go up. It means that you guys are liking what we're laying down. Okay, I'm just gonna go over what I want you guys to be looking at on GME, right? So, if people interpret Roaring Kitty's remarks as it's over, it's going to be a fabulous fake out because it will cause all the shorts to get greedy and pile in right here, right? And all he needs to do is come out and say, psych, it's back on, and we're going to have another squeeze moment. Now, I called it out in my last video that 18 was a significant level. We haven't quite got there. We got down to around 1950. Here are some things I want you to point out. I'm going to be talking just about the Watson envelope today. The Watson envelope, all indicators, none of them are perfect. None of them are the Holy Grail. None of them tell you exactly what to do, but all of them serve a purpose. And if you look at the Watson right here, it gives you a little bit of a range of price action. We're going to call that when it moves above like this, it's outside of its normal range. And obviously, it got this red sell indicator here. If you had sold there, it would have been too early. I've often noticed on the daily time frame that when you get that red indicator, give it another day because it normally has a follow-up move very similar to this. Now, we have not gotten a buy indicator. And here's what I want you guys to remember in the GME chart. 18 is that window of ideal entry, but when you see it swing outside to the upside, you want to expect to see a swing to the downside to the outside, right? Typically, that is a usual move. If it goes to an extreme level to the top, it'll come back to an extreme level to the bottom. Nobody knows for certain. What we know is that 18 is structure. If we do, even though we got a nice little green candle today, let's just say we have a strong sell-off day tomorrow beneath 18. I'm going to tell you guys that if the momentum is dying, this is going to be your one opportunity, like today or tomorrow. You're going to have one more opportunity to protect your capital by putting in a stop loss. And I'm going to tell you that if we get close to this $24 price and you guys don't put in a stop loss to protect yourself, you're absolutely crazy, because this is a very uncertain event. Technically, based on the last time, it lasted 30 days. This one so far has only lasted 4 days. There's reason to believe it's not over, but if we get a little bounce back to 24, which is kind of where I told you guys one of the potential entry spots were, I said 24 and 18. You need to put your stop loss in. I'm going to quickly go over some thoughts on AMC. AMC, guys, when I look at this chart on a smaller time frame, let me go to a smaller time frame like the 4 hour, okay? What I'm seeing is structure all over this on smaller time frames. There's structure right here, guys. There's structure right here, okay? We've come beneath these structure points. We've gotten on the smaller time frame, the 4 hour, we've got some buy signals on the Watson. And at bare minimum, we're probably going to see a push up to maybe $5.37. Now, I'm not saying that we won't go higher. I'm just saying that with these signals, through watching the Watson envelope, we'll very likely come back and at least hit 535. And this is the opportunity that if you're going to use any sensible investing strategy, it's going to be your opportunity to put a stop loss. And if you get kicked out, so be it. All you should be trying to do is trade the breakout back up to $7.30 or $9. You know, if we get above back to 5, put your stop loss in at $4.70. If it takes off above that and hits $7.30, put your stop loss right beneath $7.30. If it breaks above $7.30, put your stop loss right beneath $9. This is the recommendation. I'm going to come back here to Tim. I wanted to emphasize that to you guys because I've talked about the meme stocks, but I also led the conversation with my disciplines. If you think that I'm trading these and buying these without using the disciplines that I've developed over the last 20 years, then you can't pass my quiz of the day, right? You can't pass it because I am controlling my position size and I am using a stop loss. I refuse to throw away thousands of dollars through foolish holding on to a stock with having no idea what it's going to do. My expectation, until it's proven otherwise, is that there is opportunity here, especially because of what Roaring Kitty came out and kind of implied, you know, ET's heading off. That's going to empower the shorts to pile back in. And then this thing could turn around and pop again. But with that pop, this is your warning. Guys, I lay down these ideas and then I come back a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and I tell you, hey, I told you then, here's what happened today. That's your moment to put a stop loss in if you haven't put it in yet. You follow me? Go ahead, Tim.
Good stuff. Now, I think there's some interesting things. If you show my chart here, again, not that we can say this is going to follow perfectly, but just so people can get an understanding of the last time what price looked like. If you want to share my screen here.
Yes. I love you guys' comments. First of all, thank you, Floor Labor, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Bitcoin Cash. Okay, we'll try to squeeze Bitcoin Cash in. The other comment was Tim's mic. Josh's mic is too low. Yeah. Tim's mic is ear rape. You guys are too much. All right, go ahead, Tim.
So look at the crazy volume. Obviously, this just shows you how exciting things got. The last time this happened was way back at the end of January in 2021. And of course, you guys can see massive rise. We came back down a little bit above the golden pocket, but close to the golden pocket. Had a bounce back up sideways, and then one more good rally, and then that was all she wrote. May of 2021 was the end. It just slowly trickled back down. Well, we've seen this happen again, and like I said, you know, that one back there got close to the golden pocket of Fibonacci. Well, this one's kind of doing the same thing. This one actually got to the golden pocket. I'm sitting here watching this, Josh, and then I pull up Lux Algo stuff and go to the 4-hour chart. Let me show you guys what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart. We hit our take profit, went above the take profit, but check out where we bounced back down to the 4-hour smart trail and the breaker block that we have in play right here. And I pulled up my oscillators, and I'm loving what I'm seeing here on the 4-hour chart. Stochastics RSI just crossed bullish and after hitting a low level. RSI, remember I told you guys being above the 50 is very good. One of the great signs is when you find support right there on the mid-level around the 50. We just rejected or bouncing back up at that mid-level. The MACD looks like it wants to start slowly curving up. I don't need to full screen that one. And then this one right here, this is something I'm going to teach you guys in the Discord next week, because I have a strategy using this oscillator that doesn't flash all the time, but when it does, and you can use on the daily chart, weekly chart, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, 1-minute chart, there's something I want to see that is a great buy signal that I close almost 90% of my trades in profit using this formation. I have a green support and the money flows positive. I'm expecting in the next couple of hours to see a green dot here on the 4-hour chart for AMC, which would be a trigger to enter a long. As far as where you go to the upside at this point, I'm kind of looking back up here towards $6. But that's something, again, I'll teach you guys next week in the Discord, where I kind of show you more in depth of how to use Lux Algo. But right now, there's a lot of signs here, Josh, that there could be another repeat of history on these AMC, GME, like these coins that they really have no utility purpose to be pumping like this other than the populace, all the people getting together and saying, let's do it, let's buy.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit out on the limb on the meme stocks, because I did say it's not over. And personally, looking at the charts, I wouldn't call it over yet. Tim looked at it from his own analysis. He doesn't see it over as yet. The number one point, and I'm always dropping a helpful gem for you folks. The number one point of today's video is begin to get a profit-taking strategy. And I visually showed you raising that stop loss. So if we get back above your entry price, do yourself a favor and protect your capital, put your stop loss right beneath it, and just continue to do that. Use the chart I gave you for where potential raises of your stop loss might be if we get that pump. Guys, I'm going to use my disciplines. If I say that the pump is incoming and it never comes, I didn't forsake my own disciplines. So if you come back later and say, Josh, where's the pump for the meme stocks? It looked to me like they could pump. It looks to Tim like they could still pump. I'm not convinced it's over yet, but I'm not abandoning the disciplines. And on that point, I'm going to throw in FFIE, guys. Let me just do a little maneuvering here. Appreciate all you guys. All right, so these are some of the charts I've given in the Discord. I called this, I said, guys, if we come back, I called this way back here. So way back here, I said to you guys, this thing, when it capitulates, the area that we need to watch the closest is going to be 98 cents. If we come back and we open and close a candle above 98 cents, it means that the pump is not over. Now, here's the point I want to make. We got all the way back up to near $2.30, which, again, all of these technicals were given to you guys in the Discord when we were back here. Or no, where we were right. I think we were right here when I gave them. And they've proven to be accurate. It came down. It went up to my resistance. It came down to my support. This is a 130% move right here. Okay. So again, if you're in this past and 100% move's not good enough, and you're not willing to drop a stop loss underneath an area of resistance that I've given you, then you're not trading this the way that I'm trading it, because I'm happy to take 100% gain. And, you should be expecting there to be a struggle at these trend lines that I've given you. Expect a struggle. Those are raising stop loss zones if we get above them. And I'll show you that. Look at this Watson envelope. Now we're on the 4-hour time. Let me go to the daily time. Is that showing up? No, it's not showing up on that time frame. Let me bring it back here. Understand that we've swung above the Watson envelope. The Watson envelope is the green and the red. This is part of the Lux Algo suite. We swung above it. We swung beneath it. Now remember, on Mara, not on Mara, on AMC, we've yet to swing beneath it. So keep that in mind. So this was able to go back up sooner because it came down faster and harder. We went above it. We swung beneath it. It gave us another swing above. But again, notice how we've got these red sell signals and the price is cooling off. So this is not bullish again until we get a candle that opens and closes above $1.80. I see something cooling off here. I see the opportunity here is 130%. And a lot of other people are going to chase this thing too hard, and they're going to be looking for 300, 400, or 1,000% when we already got, that was a near 10,000% move on FFEI. We already got that, right? Now we're kind of riding the aftermath wave. And yes, Guy Barazani said, stop losses will not help you if he made a mention to the fact that if you are trading if you're not watching it after hours, and that's 100% true. That's why, okay, Guy, are you listening to me? If you're a fan of this page, that's why I have more than one discipline. Discipline 2 is stop loss. Discipline 3 is control your position size, okay? Because the reason why there's more than one discipline is because there are various scenarios that come into play. This stuff isn't easy, but it sure is fun. I'm going to cut it off right there. Guys, next week, we're going to do the deep dive into Lux on the Discord. That's the Stock Squad Patreon. I'm going to leave a link for Tim's page. I want you guys to subscribe to Investing Bros. I'm going to leave a link for Lux Algo if you guys want to get that in preparation for next week. You guys see, Tim and I are using these, right? I do my own charting. I've got decades of experience in charting. That's laid an incredible foundation for me. But now I love the Lux Algo tools because they kind of give me pictures and reminders and visuals. That's why I throw emojis on the charts for you guys, is because I'm trying to make this easy. Lux Algo makes it easy. You guys can click on that link. Tim's link, Lux Algo. Hit that like for me. Hit subscribe so you guys get these Technical Tuesdays with Tim on Mondays and Thursdays. Peace and blessings, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Tim, what did you want to say?
Nothing but love for this channel and for all of you guys. Thank you so much for having me again, Josh. And again, I look forward to next week. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys aren't in Josh's Discord and if you aren't signed up, whatever you need to do to get in there, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Come see us next week.
Thank you, Tim. Blessings.